a quiet farmer, a grisly discovery, and a town demanding answers. Michael Gaine was no criminal, no troublemaker, just a 56-year-old farmer known for keeping to himself and helping others in Kenmare, County Kerry. But on a quiet morning in March, he vanished without a trace. Weeks later, the unthinkable happened. His dismembered body was discovered buried on his own land after a slurry machine jammed during routine farm work. It wasn't an accident, it was a cover-up. And now, just days before his funeral, the focus is shifting again toward the one man who claimed to have found the remains. A man with a troubled past and a growing list of contradictions. This isn't just a tragic murder, it's a mystery, and Ireland is watching. The town of Kenmare is preparing to say goodbye. Michael Gaine's funeral will begin with a public repose on Friday evening, June 6th at Finnegan's Funeral Home. Friends, neighbors, and fellow farmers will gather quietly, and the rosary will be held later that night at 7. Then on Saturday morning, June 7th, the funeral mass will take place at Holy Cross Church in Kenmare. Michael's coffin will arrive shortly before the ceremony, and after the service, he will be laid to rest in a private burial attended only by close family. In place of flowers, Michael's family is asking for donations to Kerry Mountain Rescue and the Search and Rescue Dog Association, the very teams who spent days combing the countryside, hoping to bring him home alive. For Kenmare, this weekend is more than a farewell. It's a reckoning with a tragedy that still has no clear ending. Michael Gaine's funeral will be a private affair as his family seeks solace away from the public eye. However, the circumstances surrounding his death have left the community with lingering questions. The discovery of his dismembered remains on his own farm has shocked Kenmare. The fact that his body was found in a slurry tank and that a chainsaw was recovered from the farmyard and is undergoing forensic analysis raises unsettling possibilities. Investigators suspect that the chainsaw may have been used in the dismemberment. The exact location and circumstances of his death remain unclear, adding to the community's unease. As the town prepares to lay Michael to rest, the lack of answers continues to weigh heavily on the minds of those who knew him. The private burial may provide some closure for his family, but for many in Kenmare, the mystery surrounding his death remains unresolved. Michael Kelley, the man who claimed he discovered Michael Gaine's remains, is now facing renewed scrutiny. When Gaine disappeared, Kelley told Gardaí he found the body while helping clear a blocked slurry machine. But that story is being looked at more closely now, especially after details from Kelley's past came to light. In 2009, during a custody hearing in the United States, a judge described Michael Kelley as untrustworthy and noted that he made bizarre accusations involving witchcraft against the mother of his child. His claims were rejected in court, and his behavior was called concerning. Now, people are asking, if this is the man who brought police to the crime scene, how much of his account can really be believed? Authorities haven't charged Kelley yet, but as the investigation continues, more eyes are turning toward him, and more questions are being asked. On the morning of March 20th, at 9:48, Michael Gaine was captured on CCTV at White's Centra in Kenmare, purchasing phone credit. He appeared calm, dressed in his usual attire, and then drove off in his bronze Toyota RAV4. This detail, though seemingly mundane, has become a focal point in the investigation. The purchase of phone credit indicates he was using a pay-as-you-go phone, which is less common among individuals who typically have bill pay plans. This raises questions. Was he using a burner phone? Was he trying to avoid detection? The absence of outgoing calls or texts after this point adds to the enigma. His vehicle was later found parked at his farm with his wallet and phone inside. The phone showed no activity after the Centra visit. This sequence of events suggests that something significant happened shortly after he returned home. The use of a pay-as-you-go phone, combined with the lack of communication after the purchase, has led investigators to consider the possibility that Michael was planning to make a call that never happened, or perhaps he was trying to avoid being traced. Either way, this small detail has become a crucial piece of the puzzle in understanding the final hours of Michael Gaine. One of the most disturbing developments in the case is the discovery of a chainsaw on Michael Gaine's farm. Gardai confirmed the tool was found near the area where Michael's dismembered remains were buried. It has since been sent for forensic testing to determine whether it was used in the killing or the disposal of his body. The very presence of that chainsaw on Gaine's own land strongly suggests that the dismemberment happened there, not somewhere else, not during a panicked escape, but right on the same farm where he lived and worked. This clue not only adds a horrifying detail to an already tragic case, it narrows down the timeline and points directly towards someone who had knowledge of the land, someone who was comfortable there, possibly someone Gaine trusted. If DNA or tissue traces are found on the chainsaw, it could be the key that cracks the case wide open. Kenmare isn't just grieving, it's questioning everything. People in the town are openly asking why it took so long to find Michael Gaine when he was buried not far from his own home. For weeks, search teams scoured roads, fields, and woodlands, but the truth was right there on his property. Locals feel the investigation was either mishandled or worse, misled. And then there's the issue of Michael Kelley. Why was he released so quickly after being the only person arrested? If he truly found the body, why did it take Gardai so long to discover what was buried just beneath the surface? The frustration is growing louder. In cafes, at farm gates, and across social media, people are saying what officials haven't, that someone dropped the ball or covered something up. This isn't just about justice for Michael, it's about trust. And right now, Kenmare's trust is fractured. As national headlines swirl around the case, so do the theories. Some speculate Michael Gaine was killed over a land dispute. Others suggest a falling out with someone in the farming community. A few even float ideas about international ties or organized crime, but so far nothing points clearly in those directions. And yet, in the chaos, one pattern keeps emerging: distraction. Was Michael Kelley's dramatic appearance claiming to find the body a tactic to shift focus? Did the chainsaw conveniently appear where it could be found? And was the strange behavior from Kelley in the days after the discovery just coincidence or something more calculated? While the public chases wild speculation, Gardai appeared to be quietly zeroing in on something far simpler: that the killer wasn't a stranger, that Michael Gaine may have been silenced by someone close, someone familiar, someone who used the noise and confusion to blur the truth. Because sometimes the simplest answer is the one no one wants to believe. This weekend, Michael Gaine will finally be laid to rest. His family, shattered by grief, will bury him in private, away from cameras and speculation. But around them, an entire town will stand still. Friends, neighbors, and farmers who knew him as quiet, loyal, and generous will gather to say goodbye. And yet, it won't feel like closure. Because even as the prayers are said and the coffin is lowered, there's a shadow hanging over everything: unanswered questions, unexplained delays, and the eerie feeling that someone still isn't telling the full truth. The chainsaw, the phone credit, the strange behavior of a man with a documented past of deception. As the church bells ring in Kenmare, many won't just be mourning. They'll be watching, waiting, and wondering if the man who inserted himself into the center of this case might be the one holding the final secret. This case is far from over. Yes, Michael Gaine will be buried. The funeral will happen. People will cry, hug, and try to move forward. But the truth isn't buried with him. Too many things don't add up. The chainsaw recovered on site. The phone credit bought hours before he vanished. The body buried just meters from his own house. And Michael Kelley, a man with a troubled history, somehow always in the middle of it all. Gardai may be quiet right now, but make no mistake, this investigation is still active. New evidence is being tested, questions are being re-asked, and every quiet moment in Kenmare is filled with tension. Because until there are answers, this isn't just the story of a murdered farmer. It's the story of a town that refuses to forget, a family that refuses to accept silence, and a country still asking, what's really buried beneath the soil?